Welcome to CEO.CA, the leading community for investors in junior resource and venture stocks. My name is Amrit Gill, and today we're joined by Colin Padget, President, CEO, and Director of Founders Metals. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
How are you finding PDAC?
That's been great. Great first day.
Yeah, well, let's get right into it. Give us an overview of your company. It's been doing fairly well with the share price, given the considerable difficulty in the junior gold markets.
Sure. I mean, we've been fortunate that we've got a lot of gold in the ground and we've been hitting it with the drill pretty consistently. So that certainly helps with the share price end of it. But Founders Metals, I mean, we're a Canadian explorer. We're in Suriname in the Guyana Shield. We only acquired the project just last year, actually, early last year. And since then, we've done about 14,500 meters of our own drilling. We have our own drills, keep costs very low, and we've had a lot of success with the drill bits.
So tell us a little bit about the experience that you bring to the table and how you're using your background to help really expedite the process.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my background, I actually started in the banking side of things, but then went back to school, did geology, grad school in geology, that sort of thing. So very much I have a technical background, field work, specifically research work in this type of gold deposit. It's very applicable, but bringing this project through and kind of being the first person to really bring it into the company and then continue with it, that was a big part of my coming on as CEO, was just to have that continuity with the project the whole way along. And it's really worked out well.
Yeah, and your flagship project is the Antino Gold Project. Can you give us the terms of ownership regarding that and what sort of historical exploration work has been done on it?
Sure. So, I mean, Antino is a 200 square kilometer land package in southeastern Suriname. There's been artisanal or small scale mining on the property and in that area for well over 100 years. Gold was first discovered there in 1885. We have records that show over 500,000 ounces have been produced off of the property artisanally, and realistically with the recoveries that you typically see from that kind of work in the 20 to 30% range, that points us towards kind of 2 million ounces plus potentially that have really been moved on the property. Much of it's still there in the tailings. Founders has an option to acquire the property, so an earn-in agreement, and we can earn in right now up to 75%. But there's also a joint venture component to that as well, where we have the ability to potentially dilute down to 10% as well. So there's a pathway to 90 right now, and that's where we're.
And recent drill results, as you mentioned, have been very promising. What do they indicate, and especially when it comes to mineralization?
Yeah, I mean, the story there really is, we started last year following up on some historic work. Confirmation drilling at the very beginning, and then we built out a long strike to depth quite a lot from the historic work, and definitely moved into areas where really wasn't understood at all. Since then, because we'd built it down far enough at the Froyo zone, we stepped back to come underneath, and in doing that, we actually hit quite a lot of gold in the upper part of those drill holes. That was a kind of a brand new parallel zone discovery. That started kind of end November last year. Most recent news results, and the thing that I'm really excited about, is a complete brand new discovery at the Donut target. And we put out a couple of press releases in the last week and a half or so. We have 45 meters of 2.16 grams in the first one, and then we just put out 19 meters of 14 grams in a brand new target. And so pretty excited about building that out, because it represents a whole other opportunity for us in an area where really we were exploring for more low grade type deposit, but clearly it's not low grades.
And as you're realizing these results, can you share with our viewers how that's going to impact your strategy going forward?
Yeah, I mean, so I mentioned we have our own drills, and so we're constantly a balance of where do we put those drills to get the best kind of bang for the buck with them. And I mean, originally our plan was to head to a target south of us on the property, Boise, and we've now decided with these new results from Donut that we're going to have our drills focused on continuing work at Froyo, moving to Donut with a drill, and we really will focus on that until we bring a third rig in, and that's when we'll be heading down to Boise.
What's it like working on Suriname, and how is the infrastructure?
Suriname's been a great jurisdiction to work in. We've had a lot of support. I met with the president and cabinet just a couple of weeks ago. There's a lot of support for just new foreign direct investment in the country, and just in general, it's been easy to get things into the country as far as imports. It's been easy to get things to site. Logistics have worked out really well. As far as infrastructure goes, we're about 45-minute flight from the capital city. We have a 1.3-kilometer airstrip at our main camp. So you can land a lot of pretty big planes there. And then the big one is that we have barge access on the river. That lets us bring heavy equipment, everything up to D8 dozers and 40-ton trucks. And so there's development down the road. The infrastructure that you need to push that forward is there.
What is your cap table looking like?
Right now, we're about 59 million shares outstanding. Kept things very tight. About 25% of that is still held with insiders and management. We've got about $5 million in the bank right now. And currently, there's about 11 million warrants outstanding, with average price around 50 cents. That represents about $6 million for us. And we've continued to see those warrants coming in. And so we've been able to kind of partially fund exploration even in the last little while with those warrant exercises.
What were the terms of your last two financings?
So the most recent financing was an 80-cent no warrant financing, 4-month holds, private placement. That was exclusively institutional, and part of it was Bank of Montreal, Paradigm Capital, and Claire Securities that were part of that syndicate. Put that together. Very high quality institutional investors in that. Previous to that, we had, a one-off or a strategic investor come in. It was 1832, or Dynamic Funds came into the story pretty early on. It was a 40-cent deal with $1.7 million raised.
How are you able to get BMO to do the $5 million bought deal last fall?
I get asked that a bit. I originally met the guys from BMO at Beaver Creek last year. And honestly, they really just saw the potential in the story. It's a pretty down market deal for the Bank of Montreal. They deal with much bigger transactions typically than, at the time we were trading at $40 or $50 million market cap. It's a pretty small thing for them, but they really recognize the potential that Antino and founders represents. And so, they are willing to kind of put that forward, push that forward. And they've been a big supporter of the project as a whole.
What catalysts do you have over the next 6 months here?
We've got a lot coming up. I mean, one of our big differentiators has been that we have very quick turnaround times on drilling. So typically it's 2 to 3 week turnaround times. So in terms of catalysts, continual news flow. We've now got a rig on Donut and a rig on Froyo, so we've got news flow from both of those. That's going to be regular. We're also going to be initiating some environmental baseline work, metallurgical work, and then we're also, looking to hopefully acquire some ground around us or grow the land package if we can. So,
anything else that you'd like to share with the community at CEO.CA?
I think that really there's just a lot of opportunity in general on this project. We look at our exploration pipeline as, we've got some very near-term things that we're developing, some brand new discoveries, opportunity for more discoveries, even just within the upper Antino area. And then on top of that, Blaze is a whole other beast that we've yet to even scratch the surface on, but do have some preliminary very good results from kind of grab samples and channel sampling. So excited to get down there eventually. But then beyond that, that's still only about a third of the property. There's 2/3 of it that haven't really been touched and are part of some of the, I think, best greenstone belt in the Guyana Shield that you could ask for. So
yeah, lots to keep an eye on. And thank you so much for your time today, Colin.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.